I can't tell you how many comments a year we get from people down below that say, I'm not drafting so-and-so because of what he did to me last year. Every single year, players bounce back and help win fantasy football championships. Who are 5 of them potentially in 2023? Talking about it right now. Now we have 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers for bounce back players here potentially in 2023. And the quarterback, I'm going DeSean Watson. I could have taken the easy road and said Russell Wilson, right? But I'm not doing that. I'm going to be a little bit more risky, I guess, and go with DeSean Watson of the Cleveland Browns. He will now have a full offseason with his team, and that is going to play a big part. Plus, we know Cleveland wants to start throwing the ball a little bit more in 2023. I know Nick Chubb owners, I feel sick about that too. But Watson really started to look comfortable the last few games of the year. Plus, had at least 6 rush attempts in all but one of his games in 2022, and we love that rushing upside from our quarterbacks in fantasy football. Now he has Amari Cooper, DPJ Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku, a solid young slot wide receiver in David Bell, an above-average offensive line, and we know Nick Chubby's in the backfield to take away some of the pressure. This could be the year that we see the bounce back from DeSean Watson, and you're getting him at a discounted price because of the underperforming 2022. Now, running back, Naji Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers had a slow start to 2022, but we tried to tell you guys, we made a video on slow starting studs, and Naji was like the first guy I talked about in that video. He dealt almost all preseason with a foot injury that we knew he was going to deal with into the beginning stages of the 2022 year. But after he got healthy, after Kenny Pickett took over, after Kenny Pickett got a little bit more comfortable himself, from week 10 through week 18, Naji Harris was running back 5 overall in fantasy football. And a lot of people have already scratched him off their 2023 draft list because of the slow start and how he screwed people over in 2022. Sure, he didn't have a great year, but a lot of people are acting like it was worse than what it was. He still had 1,250 total yards and 10 touchdowns, and now you get him for cheaper. A bounce back, I guess you could say, is coming for Naji Harris. What about David Montgomery, now of the Detroit Lions? Now, Detroit basically just parted ways with the league leader in rushing touchdowns in the NFL last year with Jamal Williams, who had 274 touches, 1,100 total yards, and 17 touchdowns. He's gone. He's no longer in town. And now we get David Montgomery in this offense, one of the top offenses in all of the NFL when it comes to scoring points. It's the best offensive line that David Montgomery has probably ever had. He signed a multi-year deal, so they're committed to him. And we know that they absolutely hate DeAndre Swift there for whatever reason. Monty's in line for huge volume at a sneaky price, looking for the bounce back this year of David Montgomery. How about a couple ball catchers? Calvin Ridley, first up, of the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people maybe remember the name, but they don't really remember the play on the field because this guy is a legit number 1 wide receiver. I mean, he's got that type of talent. He had 143 targets, 90 receptions, 1,374 yards receiving, and 9 touchdowns back in 2020. Got hurt in 2021, suspended in 2022, but the guy is still only 28 years old, and he's very refreshed. He's not all beat up, banged up, bruised. He's good to go in 2023, and now he joins arguably one of the most improved offenses in all the NFL in Jacksonville, playing with arguably best, most improved quarterbacks in Trevor Lawrence in a division that has struggled to stop the passing game. Pair him up with Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, this offense could put up points, and Calvin Ridley could be at the center of it and be a huge surprise and a huge bounce back here in 2023. Now, if you like this type of content, bounce back players, sleepers, breakouts, busts, don't forget our draft guide is available for pre-order right now over on the fantasyheadliners.com. Link down below in the description. You'll absolutely dominate your fantasy leagues. Only cost you $21.99, but here's a little bit of a kicker. If you sign up for Underdog, who's our partner this year, and make just the minimum $10 deposit on a new account, you get a free draft guide. Just keep that in mind. Links down below in the description. Don't forget about that. And then lastly, our last wide receiver, Cortland Sutton. Now, things have to improve in Denver, right? I mean, they couldn't get much worse compared to 2022. They got to get better. And Russ played better post-firing of Nathaniel Hackett. We saw that late in the season. But now Sean Payton is in town. He has had a top 10 overall passing offense 14 times in his career. Now, sure, there are trade rumors out there surrounding the Denver Broncos and potentially trading one of their wide receivers, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. What happens if one of them are dealt? Well, first off, if it's not Sutton, he's in line for more targets. And if it is Cortland Sutton, a team is trading for him because they need him and have a need at the wide receiver position, which means, yep, he's probably going to get targets as long as he's got some decent quarterback play. He's definitely in line if he stays healthy for 130 plus targets. He had at least 7 targets in 11 of the 15 games just last year. Cortland Sutton is a very talented wide receiver that a lot of people have already scratched off their draft boards, but could find himself in a pleasant spot in 2023 to bounce back. But who do you think bounces back here in 2023 fantasy football? Are there any names that I didn't mention that you're really paying close attention to? Leave them down below in the comment section. I'm going to try to answer as many comments as possible this offseason so we can just continue, talking to the community. We love doing that, so make sure you do me a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and then do your part to make the world a better place.